if you want to learn how to make a Speed City admin menu like this, so right here they can spawn orbs. So if you get surrounded by these and you can collect them and your steps will go up, or you can watch from the sky, basically change your ID into or change the sun into your character. This will go away in 60 seconds, by the way. And make a trail of yourself. A way to change the floor's color and to change your steps. And even when you collect, it doesn't go away. Make sure to stay tuned. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is just remove all of the scripts. Alright. So first thing I'm gonna do is let you guys copy this frame. This is not the exact same of the Speed City one. I just recreated it and got the same fonts and got the same colors. So I'll put this in the link in the description. And so you got like orb spawner, rainbow floor button, set box, player trail, and sky button. I put Roblox's trail as for example, but this is actually not gonna be it's not gonna actually say Roblox's trail. It's actually gonna say MattVSNNL trail or whatever your username is. Alright, so first thing we're gonna do is code the open admin button so it actually opens and closes. So you're gonna add in a local script and do script.parent.mouse button one click connect function. So this is gonna fire every time this button is clicked. Then we're gonna do script.parent.admin_frame.visible equals not script.parent.admin_frame.visible. So basically what this is doing is setting the visibility of the admin frame to what it's not. So if it's true, so say it's true, because a visibility button is a Boolean value, so it's basically true or false. And if it's true, then it's gonna turn false. But if it's false, it's gonna turn true. So if we test this out, and if we press it, see it opens and closes. Alright, so now what we are gonna do is add in a script into server script service and call it stats. And then what I'm gonna do is game the player added connect function player. Local leader stats equals instance.new folder. Leader stats dot name equals leader stats. Leader stats dot parent equals player. So if you don't know what this is, I'd recommend watching my leader stat video on how to make stats and stuff. So then what we are gonna do is local steps equals instance.new int value. Steps.name equals steps. Steps.value equals 0. Steps.parent equals player. Or actually leader stats, sorry. So now if we test this out, as you can see, we have 0 steps. But now all of these buttons don't do anything. So now we actually have to code them. Alright, so first thing we're gonna code is the steps amounting. So first thing we're gonna do is we need to add a remote function. So basically what a remote function is, this will basically change stuff from the client instead of just going and changing your stats through local script, because even if you collect like any orbs, it's gonna just make it what it was before. So we're gonna do add steps. That's what I'm gonna call it. And then inside of the sub button, I'm gonna add a local script and do local text box equals script the parent script the parent dot set box, and that's it. And then script dot parent dot mouse button one click colon connect function. So I'm basically making a variable as the text box, and it's gonna fire every time we click this. So then what we're gonna do is game the replicated storage, the add steps colon invoke server text box dot text. So basically we're invoking this remote function, and we're sending to the server the text box's text. So now we're gonna add a new script into server script service and call it add steps handler. So then what we are gonna Then what we are gonna do is game the replicated storage the add steps dot on server invoke equals function player comma text box. Actually, let me call it amount steps. So this is basically gonna pick up the invoke and making it a function. So then what we are gonna do, in here we also put the player that fired it and the amount of steps as our text box's text. So then what we are gonna do is player.leader stats steps.value equals player.leader stat steps.value plus amount steps. So now we're changing the steps to the amount of steps, so basically what's in the text box. So now if we test this out, as you can see, if I put 5 steps, it's gonna give us 5 steps. So even if we change this to anything, it's still gonna be 10 steps, since we're firing it from the server, because a remote function can basically, it's like a remote event but then a function. So instead of changing it on a local script, basically the client, it's gonna change it on the server. Alright, so now we got one out of the way. We got the amount of steps. So now we're gonna move on to the rainbow floor. Now this one is actually the easiest from them all. So then first thing we're gonna do is add in a local script and do script.parent dot mouse button one click colon connect function. And I just noticed I should probably do it like this. So just in case, there you go guys. Just in case you didn't see any of it. That's all of the scripts. Alright, and then what we're gonna do, since we detect when it is clicked, we're gonna do workspace colon wait for child baseplate dot brick color equals brick color dot random. So it's gonna choose a random brick color, and that's gonna be our brick color. So now if we test this out, as you can see, if we click it, it changes into a random color. Sorry, epilepsy warning. And so now we're gonna move on to the trail. Now this one's gonna be kind of tricky. So now first thing we're gonna do is actually make a trail. So I'm gonna call it player trail. Make it static, and that's it. So then what I'm gonna do is add a local script to the player trail. And what I'm gonna do is local players equals game colon get service players. Local user ID equals player or game.players.localplayer.user ID. So we're grabbing the user ID of the player, and then what we're gonna do is script.parent.texture equals players :get user thumbnail async user ID, enum dot thumbnail type dot avatar thumbnail. So if you don't know any difference between this, I'll show you what it is. We have to go to the developer developer wiki, Roblox, the developer hub. Yeah, that's what it's called. And so we're gonna get thumbnail type. So this is basically the headshot. The return thumbnail shows the player's head and up. The avatar bust is basically the chest up, and the avatar thumbnail is basically the entire body. So you can choose any of these, but I'm gonna go for the avatar thumbnail. And then we're gonna do enum dot thumbnail size dot 420 times 420. So basically, you probably don't know what get user thumbnail async is. It's basically to get the player's whole profile. So if I go to my profile right here, as you could see, it's basically just gonna get this. So now we have to actually like code it. So I'm gonna add a remote event and call it insert trail. So then what I'm gonna do, instead of the player trail, I'm gonna add a local script. Now first thing I'm gonna do is change the text to say like your player's name and then trail. So then first thing I'm gonna do is script.parent.text equals game.players.localplayer.name ... and then s trail. So basically what this is doing is grabbing the local player's name and putting a s behind it and then trail. So if you test this out, as you can see, it now says MattVSNNL's trail. So now what I'm gonna do is script.parent the mouse button one click : connect function. I don't really have to explain what this is anymore. So now what we're gonna do is game.replicated-storage.insert trail : fire server, and then we're gonna, yeah, that's good. So basically what this is gonna do is firing this remote event to the server. And you must be saying, why not fire client since the local script is a client? Now basically how remote events work, or remote functions, if you wanna fire it from a local script, you have to do fire server because you're firing and sending it to the server. So basically that. And in a server script you have to do fire client, so we send it to a client. Alright, now we're actually gonna make the trail or clone the trail. So let's do add trail. So I'm just gonna pop this in. Bam. Oh. So basically this is I'm gonna pick that up and get the player. And then we're gonna clone the player trail and put the trail inside of the head. And then we're gonna make a new attachment, and it's gonna be inside of the character's head. And then we're gonna call it trail attachment 0. Then we're gonna make another attachment and call it attachment 1, and it's gonna be inside of our humanoid root part. So basically your humanoid root part is where the location of your player is. So it's gonna put these two trails as as trail 0 and 1. So it's gonna make the new one. So now if we test this out, if I press this and I walk, as you can see, I have my trail right here. Just a disclaimer, this will change. So if you change your avatar, this will change to your avatar you changed to, because it's basically just getting how you look like. So if I change my character right here to like Pump, for example, and I play, I don't think this is automatically gonna change, but yeah, it won't change now, but after a bit it will change. So yeah, I'm just gonna stay like this for now. But if you like go into a real game or something, this will change. Alright, so now we did the trail. Now we're gonna do the watch from the sky. So what I'm gonna do is add in another remote event, because this is basically all client sided, but we also have to add like that it's server, so the server can actually see the sky, because if we just change it on the client, this won't show for everyone. So I'm gonna call it change sun, and I'm gonna add a local script into the sky button, and same old thing, script parent mouse button one click connect function, game replicated storage, change sun fire server, and that's it. I'm also gonna stop these. So we're firing it again, and then I'm gonna add a script change sun. So we're gonna do game replicated storage change sun on server event connect function player. Alright, so now we're gonna do local new sky equals instance.new sky. So we're making a new sky because, as you can see, there's no sky in here. So it's gonna make a new sky, and we're gonna do new sky dot name equals fake sky, and we're gonna do new sky dot sun texture ID. Also in here we have to do local players equals game get service players, local user ID equals player dot user ID, since we already defined it as the player through the local script. And then what we're gonna do equals players get user thumbnail async user ID enum dot thumbnail type dot. I'm gonna do headshot for this, or if you want you can do avatar thumbnail, but I'm gonna do headshot. And then enum dot thumbnail size dot size 420 times 420. Alright, so now we're gonna do new sky dot parent equals game dot lighting. Alright, so now we made our new sky, but after 60 seconds we don't want to see us as a sun again. So we're gonna do wait 60 seconds and new sky destroy. So now if we test this out, it will be very bright for this because it's base plate 2021, but if you're on a normal base plate, this will be normal for you. So if we press watch from the sky, okay, it isn't bright now. And so as you can see, we see my character here. As you can see, my name's Skid and Pump, or actually it's just Pump. And then after 60 seconds, it's just gonna destroy, but I'm not gonna wait 60 seconds because I don't want to make this video longer. Alright, so now we made Watch from the Sky, and now we're gonna make the final thing. And this is actually gonna be the hardest one. Alright, so first we want to actually make our orb, because this is the spawn orb one. So we're gonna make an orb, and I'm just gonna make it like this, and just make it green, and then neon. So now we have an orb, and I'm gonna anchor and can collide. So now if we play, as you can see, we have this orb. Great, we made an orb. But this orb doesn't do anything, as you can see. So now we need to make a collect script. So inside of it, we're gonna do script.parent.touch connect function hit. And so it's gonna detect whenever it's touched, and we're gonna look at the person who hit it. So we're gonna do if hit.parent find first child humanoid. Then, so it's gonna check if it's humanoid, and then this can fire. So we're gonna do local player equals, and we can't just do game.players.local player, because this is a server script, and we can't get the local player in this. But we can't get a local player in a server script, obviously. So, but since we already defined it as hit, we can do get player from character. So we're gonna get the player from the character, and every character has a humanoid. So hit.parent. So now we got our player. So then what we are gonna do is player.leaderstats.steps.value equals player.leaderstats.steps.value plus 1. Alright, great. We gave the player some a step. Actually, I'm just gonna do this like 25. But we don't want to just do that. You can keep on collecting, right? And so what we are gonna do for this is script.parent destroy. So we're gonna destroy it. So now if I play here, so I don't have to walk the way over to it. Alright, so now if we touch it, as you can see, we get 25 steps, and it's not here anymore. As you can see, it's deleted from the workspace. But you're probably saying, well, then I can only press it once, right? Because we're just destroying it. Well, this is not true. We're actually gonna clone this. So we're gonna put it in replicated storage. Alright, so now we're gonna add in a remote event. And I'm gonna do add orb, or actually spawn orb. Alright, so great. We made our orb and we made our remote function. So now we need to actually like make it spawn. So inside of this orb spawner, I'm actually just gonna add like a little cooldown so players can't just spam it. So I'm gonna do local cooldown time equals 4. So every 4 seconds they can only do it. And then we're gonna do local last pressed equals 0. And then we're gonna make a function spawn orb if tick minus last press above cooldown time. Then so if it's counting down, and it's gonna take away the last pressed, and if it's above the cooldown, then last pressed equals tick. And then we're gonna do game.replicated storage.spawn orb fire server. So then what we're gonna do is add in a server script again and call it add orbs. And then we're gonna pick this up, game.replicated storage.spawn orb.onClient on server event connect function player. Alright, so this is where it really gets hard. Well, not really. And so, first thing we need to do is clone the orb. So I'm gonna do local clone orb1 equals game.replicated storage.orb clone, and clone orb1.parent equals workspace. Oh, gotta bam. Alright, so now we made our new orb. And let me also just duplicate this 4 times, because if you seen his Meltedway's video on the spawning the orbs and stuff, you'll see that there's 4 orbs around the player, and also in my preview. Alright, so we made 4 clones, and now we just need to position them. Now this is gonna be very hard, because we also need to get the character and stuff. So we're gonna do local character equals player.character or player.character added wait. So we can detect when it's added, and then we can just wait. Alright, so now we defined our character, and then we're gonna do clone orb1 dot cframe equals character find first child humanoid root part dot cframe. So it's gonna bring it to our humanoid root part, but we don't want to just look like he's pooping it out. So what I'm gonna do is plus vector3 dot new 0, 0, 0. Actually, here I'm gonna do 5 like I did before. So now if we test it out, and I just press spawn orb. Wait, where the orb at? Let me see what the problem is. Let me just do print teleported. Alright, so the problem is here. Wait, let me just delete these and just do that. Yep. Let me also check the workspace if it actually gets added. Alright, so it doesn't get added for some reason. And it looks like it's also not printing. Let me just remove this and do player.character. Like that. Maybe this would work. Alright, so for some reason this is not working. Wait, maybe it's something in here. Alright, let me Oh, I know what the problem is. Let me put these back. Right. So the problem is we did not call this function. We did not do it. Alright, so we need to do script.parent.mousebutton one click connect and then spawn orb. So the problem was I didn't call the function. So if anything happened, it would not spawn. So let me just test that. Sorry, that's a mistake made by me. Alright, so spawn orb. As you can see, we have an orb right here, and I don't know why that won't spawn. So as you can see, we have an orb and we could collect it, but it's not in a circle. So what we are gonna do in here is, let me also get rid of this. So we're gonna do clone orb2.cframe. Wait, let me just do that. And then here we're gonna do minus, so it's behind us. And so if I test it out now, bam. As you can see, it's behind and in front of me. So you can collect this. And I know why those are spawning now. Alright, so now we're gonna do clone orb 3 dot, or actually let's just bam. So, but now we don't need it at the same position. So we're gonna do this 0, and right here 5. And let me just, there we go. Right, so we finished our cloning orbs and stuff. So now if we test it out, oh, we just hit 30 minutes on the clock. So now if we test it out, as you can see in a circle, we have our orbs that we can collect. So now we finally made our machinery, or our admin menu. So we can change our floor, give ourselves a trail, watch us from the sky right here, and spawn ourselves some mighty mighty orbs. And I added this wait, so only every 4 seconds you can spawn, so players can't just like keep on spawning orbs. But now you probably want it for yourself, so no one else can have this. So what you're gonna do is add in a local script. This is also a very easy. So we're gonna do game.players.player add a connect function player. So you probably know what player added is. So it detects whenever a player joins. We're gonna do if player user ID is equal to, and then you get your ID. You get your profile ID. So let me just get my profile ID. There we go. Then, oh crap, not tween info. I'll have another video on tweening sometime. Alright, so now, if it's this, we're gonna do script.parent.enabled equals true. Actually, let's do script.parent.open admin button.visible equals true. So you have to make this visibility false too. So now if we test this out, so I did my user ID. So wait, we need a okay. So we need this visibility on, and we need script.parent.enabled equals to true. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We need to make it false right now. So now no one can see it. But if we join, it doesn't work. Let's see. Is this not my ID or something? Like, okay, let me check this out. Alright, so script.parent. True. Embarrassed right now. Ooh, I think I know what the problem is. Is this okay? This visibility is on. Right, let me try this again. Game the players to player added connect function player. And user ID is equal to this, then dot parent dot enabled equals true. Let me check if this works. Okay, this is kind of weird. Alright, so it's not enabling it. Alright, let's try this with server script. Game the players but player added connect function player. If player dot user ID is equal to this, then player dot player GUI dot admin frame. Let me call it admin GUI. Then we'll need to change this admin GUI dot enabled equals true. Let me check if that works. Alright, so this is a weird problem, but I'll just keep it enabled for now, and I don't know, watch another video on how to open it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, this 36-minute long video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.